Is it Hugh Jackman time? I think it's Hugh Jackman time.
Musical styles are still a very important form of communication for our young people. Hi, I'm Joe Feinstein.
Before we dive in, just wanted to give a quick apology for the delay in between uploads on the channel. Combination of real life stuff and also struggling to figure out what to talk about next. I spent a while going back and forth with a bunch of films on my list, really trying to figure something out, and even though I had some that were a lot of fun to watch, overall there really wasn't a lot to talk about. You know, films like The Other Guys, Wanted, Children of the Corn, again, fun, but just nothing to really sink my teeth into. However, came across Van Helsing again a couple days ago, and it's a wonderful combination of fun and bizarre, so I can't help but not talk about it. The core cast is fantastic. Hugh Jackman, Kate Beckinsale, David Wenham, Richard Roxburgh, icons one and all. Especially Roxburgh. I don't think I've ever had more fun watching somebody portray Dracula. Sommers wrote and directed this a few years after he started the Mummy franchise. Now, if you've seen The Mummy or any of Sommers' work, then you'll realize that his work can be a little all over the place at times. So, for better or worse, that's going to be how this episode goes. Because there isn't one big thing I want to talk about, it's mostly all of these small things that add up to this film being what it is. Long story short, Van Helsing goes to Romania to help a holy family defeat Dracula. But the short story, longer and more humorous, is that a man with amnesia is manipulated and used as a weapon by the Vatican to stamp out evil while keeping information about his past from him. It's two sides of the same coin, really. That whole two sides of the same coin thing really feels like a theme for this film, because anytime we learn something cool or interesting, it's oddly paired with something bizarre or just downright head-scratching. For instance, the movie starts in black and white as a callback to the original monster films and does a wonderful job at introducing us to a few characters and setting up the main threat. But during the scene, Frankenstein's monster tries to hide from a torch-catering mob by running into a wooden windmill that, for some reason, is filled with nothing but 1,000 absinthe bottles and one Bible. And despite needing the monster alive, Dracula doesn't do anything to help stop the mob from going after him. Van Helsing himself is a thoughtful and considerate person underneath his standoffish attitude. We see him care for Frankenstein's monster and Anna, and we even see him joke around with Carl. But the myth of his badassery goes away fairly quickly when you realize that he spends most of the film just getting the dog piss beat out of him and missing a lot of the shots that he takes. So is the reason why he's so famous/infamous because he's just able to bulldoze through damage like an escaped gorilla from the zoo, or what? Now, as I mentioned up top, the Holy Order does have a righteous mission in trying to stop these evil creatures from attacking humanity. That I have zero problem with whatsoever. But it is 1,000,000,000% obvious that they're just using Van Helsing for their own ends. They had that piece of scroll with the same symbol as his ring and had it for years, yet are only now just telling him about it. And sure as God's got sandals, if they knew Helsing was the left hand of God, they probably know all about his past already. Not to mention, they wanted to kill the monster even if Dracula was defeated, simply because he isn't human. Which begs the question of how many other creatures have they killed simply because it wasn't a human? The Valerius family took a very honorable vow of not resting until Dracula and his creatures are destroyed. From the remaining members left of the family, it's clear that they care about the people and they do all they can to keep them safe. However, they appear to be so bad at their job, it's amazing that their family has survived this long. Anna mentions that,
"He's the first one to kill a vampire in over 100 years.
Anna, your family has been fighting for over 400 years against the vampires. You're telling me your family has dropped the ball so hard you've gone 2 to 3 generations without getting anything accomplished? Good lord, what the hell have you been doing this whole time?" It even trickles down into the look of the film. The practical effects and the sets are actually really solid. Frankenstein's monster, the lab and all the castles, the outer castles themselves, the village, Anna's home, even the vampire egg sacs. And the costumes, outlandish as they may be, look great. However, outside of Dracula and his brides, most of the CGI is bad. Like Mars Attacks level bad. London looks weird, the Vatican looks weird, I mean, even weirder than it does in Angels vs. Demons. Marika's death looks weird, almost all of the werewolf transformations look wonky. I mean, you'd think with a budget of 160 mil, things would have been better overall, but they try to mask it by having a lot of things happen in the dark, but it is still pretty damn noticeable. If there's anything I really do want to spend any length talking about, it's Frankenstein's monster and why Van Helsing relates to him so much. Sure, how he was created was definitely not above board, but he himself never did anything wrong. Dude woke up and immediately lost his father, and then was chased by a bunch of angry people he didn't know. He literally asks, "Why?" when he gets to the top of the windmill. Then he escapes and hides away, not bothering anybody. But then when Anna and Helsing stumble across him, he says,
"Monster! Who's the monster here? I have done nothing wrong, and yet you and your kind all wish me dead!"
You know, he goes on to save both Helsing and Carl's lives, and even tells Helsing to save himself rather than waste time trying to save him. Through it all, Van Helsing does see himself in the creature. He himself simply wants to exist, but those around him see him as a monster despite the good he tries to do. And sure, this may be a little bit of a reach, but both of them do their best to keep their faces hidden when around others. Helsing has his hat and his face cloth, and the monster spends a lot of time with his hood on. I guess I just want to end on this thought. If I had a nickel for every time Hugh Jackman was holding the corpse of the woman he loved immediately after he killed her, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. Actually, now that I think about it, if I had a nickel for every time I had to watch a Frankenstein monster sail away while wondering to myself, where the fuck does he think he's actually gonna go? Then I'd also have 2 nickels. Thanks, small soldiers. But anyway, this is a fun 2 hours, and you should definitely give it a watch. If you made it to the end, thank you so much for watching. As a special present for you all for being so patient during the wait, I actually have a special episode coming for the 4th of July, so be on the lookout for that. And as an extra special thank you, I'm going to give you here at the end a little small preview of our next retrospective at the end of the month. Oh, I'm sorry, you thought I forgot? Wrong. Guess again, bitch. Time for another round of 6 Degrees of Muppets. Richard Roxburgh, who played Dracula, was also in Moulin Rouge, which was directed by Baz Luhrmann, who also directed Romeo and Juliet, which starred Leonardo DiCaprio, who was also in The Great Gatsby with Tobey Maguire, who was in Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas with Johnny Depp, who was in Dark Shadows with Michelle Pfeiffer, who appeared in the very first episode of The Muppets Tonight Show in 1996. See? I still got it. Thank you again for watching, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one.
Musical styles are still a very important form of communication for our young people. Hi, I'm Joe Feinstein.